What's up, guys? Jay Lee here, Northwest Podcast. Today I want to talk about how to keep yourself sane when things aren't going your way. This is probably a very important topic because particularly for guys who just aren't that successful, which probably is a lot of guys, and we are. I'm definitely in that category. Although I've had a lot of success in my life, different periods and different styles and types of success, we are guys who are not that successful are kind of the silent sufferers, right? The silent minority. I don't even know if I'd say a minority. It's all relative. We don't know how much someone is successful or someone's not successful, because people don't really advertise their failures. So we really don't know, right? And it's hard to quantify that. It's hard to gauge, exactly what is failure and what is success. It's easy. I would say it's easier to gauge what is success, right? You get laid, there you go, that's success. You get a great career, that's success. You make a lot of money, that's success. Success itself is pretty quantifiable, but failure is a little harder to quantify because we just don't. We tend not to. At least for me, I tend not to dwell on failure, and I tend not to really think about it that much. I just say, okay, fuck it. I lost. I failed. Didn't work out. Right. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use women as a sort of barometer to gauge failure. Or I'm going to sort of talk about, I'm going to try, I don't know how deep I'm going to get into this, but my main point here is that failure is a major part of life. It's kind of my main point. And you sort of have to get used to failure, right? You have to get used to it. And you have to, I think one of the biggest problems, and I know I suffered from this, one of the biggest problems for young guys is, and particularly, I don't know if I'd say blue pill guys, but guys who really have a lot of hope that, your dreams are going to come true and it's all going to, one day, because we have this weird culture, at least I did, and growing up in the 90s, and you have this weird, I don't even know now. I don't even know what they're telling kids now. I don't watch, young kids movies, or I don't watch any of that shit anymore. But I know when I was growing up, you were always told and taught, like, you can do anything, you can achieve your wildest dreams, and if you just work hard enough, it's like, you believe that, you buy into it. And I wasted a lot of years thinking that something was going to happen, thinking that there was going to be some great thing that happened. And life isn't really like that. Okay. When you become an adult, life isn't really like your dreams just don't come true. There's not some magical thing that happens when all of a sudden all your dreams come true. It just doesn't work like that. I would say life is more describable and definable as a series of failures and successes, right? That's more what life really is. It's a series of failures and successes. And your successes are probably going to be a lot less defined and less noticeable than your failures, right? But there's a trick here. There's a key, right? And I want to use a little bit about, I still want to use that example of women because it's easier. It's easy to, it's easier to quantify that because it's like success with a woman is, you get her number, you go out with her, you hang out with her, whatever, and you get laid, right? Failure with a woman is she just rejects you. She ghosts you, or she just says, no, I'm not interested. All right. Even if she even has the courtesy to do that, like in today's day and age, women don't even do that anymore. They just stop talking to you because what's the point? A lot of times it's online, but I've had girls stop talking to me in person as well. they just stop talking to you. They don't, no, I'm not interested. And they don't even feel the need to say, sorry, I'm not interested. I've experienced that a lot, right? So it's pretty quantifiable. But, here's the thing. There's a silver lining. There's a silver lining to all this, right? And it's not left or right, okay? It's not win or lose. It's not success or failure. There's a silver lining. Now, on the one hand, like a lot of guys really quantify their happiness or quantify their success, etc., based on the fact that, yes, I'm getting laid, or no, I'm not getting laid. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the thing. It doesn't matter. It's like what we tend to do is we tend to put all our eggs in that success or failure basket. We tend to base our current mood at any time whether or not we're succeeding, and that's a mistake. Okay, that's a mistake. There's a saying that says, don't forget to stop and smell the roses. And that's so true. Here's the thing. Like, I have no problem with people, chasing their dreams and having goals. I have no problem with that. Like, that's fine. Like, do it. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. Don't wait until you achieve your goal or you fail at achieving your goal in order to be happy. Okay? Don't wait for that. Don't wait until you achieve your goal to be happy, because this is what you do. This is what we do, because this is what we're told. We're told, oh yeah, you can have anything. You can be anything. Once you're rich, or once you're getting laid all the time, or once you got a wife, once you got a family, once you got love, like, then you'll be happy. It's like we have this concept that once we get what we want, then we're going to be happy. And I know this is a hard thing to tell somebody who's suffering. It's a hard thing to tell somebody who's in the trenches, who's failing, and you know what I mean? I know that. I know it's a hard thing to tell somebody who has experienced nothing but failure. But believe me, I'm no stranger to failure. I'm no stranger to failure and let down. I've been let down constantly in my life. I failed over and over and over and over again. If you would compare the amount of failure I've had in my life to the amount of success that I've had in my life, the amount of failure would be a tower. It would tower over the amount of success that I've had. The amount of success that I have would be like a small little bump, and the amount of failure that I've had would just be this huge tower. Okay, so believe me, I know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. You have to find happiness in something else. You have to find your joy in something besides what you're trying to succeed at, right? Because if you put all your eggs in that basket and you say, oh, I'm only gonna, I'll be happy once I succeed, once I get this house, once I get this cabin and this land that I want to go fishing. Oh, it's going to be so great. And woo woo. It's like, yeah, do that. Like, if that's your goal, do that. But guess what? You could still go fishing. You don't need that cabin to go fishing. Like, you can go fishing still without the cabin. Like, yeah, you want the cabin. I get it. I understand. You want that cabin. It's cool. It's yours. It's on a piece of land. You can go fishing every day. That's where you live. Yeah, that's your whole like, that whole idea that you've built up in your dream, your dream vision, right? I get it. But that might be 10 years away. And you want to know what? It might not materialize. It might not happen. Your plan is to go buy some stocks. Your plan is to save. And it's like, it might not happen. You might come into some financial hardships. Your stocks might go under. This might happen. That might happen. You might get sick. You might have to, someone in your family, gets sick and you have to put all your money towards that. It might not happen, man. That's the thing. So find happiness in something that's not down the road, because there's stuff that we can be happy with right now. There's stuff that we can be happy with. It might not even be that thing. Like for women, women's pretty cut and dry, right? It's like there's not a lot we can do. We're either getting laid or we're not. We're either succeeding at dating or we're not, right? There's not a lot there's not a lot you can do. Like, okay, I guess, watch porn. I guess, there's really, you either are or you're not. And that's why a lot of guys, that's why a lot of guys talk shit about getting laid, and that's why a lot of guys say, "Oh, you're a virgin, you're never gonna get laid," because it's like either you are or you're not. Like life is rarely as cut and dry as that. Like you might not be super successful at something great, but you can be successful at something smaller, and there's always ways that you can, find something else. But when it comes to sex, when it comes to women, it's like either you are or you aren't, which sucks, right? It sucks for a lot of guys who are unsuccessful at it. But even then, I would say you can still find something else. You can still find something else. You can still find another way, right? You can still find happiness in something else. So how do you stay happy, and how do you stay successful? How do you stay sane when everything around you is failure? And I think this is something that they used to know a lot better back in the day. Back in the day, I mean 100 years ago, 150 years ago, because they were more accustomed to failure. In our life, it's like, hey, in the world that we live in, it's like, hey, if you want a pizza, you go to Papa John's. Papa John's is right there. You want a pizza, you want a burger, you go to, Burger King is right there, or Five Guys is right down the street. Like, we have access to things so easily, and we're so spoiled, especially women. Women are very spoiled because they want a man, they go online, they get a man. It's not hard. All right, well, we're a little spoiled in this generation, but the older generations, they knew how to suffer, they knew how to go without. And what that did was it caused them to be, caused them to know how to take the bad with the good. That's probably not even a good example. Caused them to know how to enjoy the small things. Caused them to know how to stop and smell the flowers. And you literally can stop and smell the flowers. You'd be surprised how happy you would be if you went out to the mountains and just looked at the flowers. We don't want to do that though, right? We're like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to sit on my computer all day and just want to, complain, Trump, Biden, just, right? And just zone out and complain about things. And it's easy to do that. It's like, yeah, I'll just complain. But, and I'm not making some kind of big speech on work harder, and that's not what I'm trying to say at all either, really. Because a lot of people think, oh, you just got to work harder. It's like, nah, that's not the answer necessarily either. The answer is to find joy in something. Find a happiness in something that isn't necessarily that one thing that you want, that one thing that you think is going to make you happy. Because chances are it probably is not going to make you that happy. Chances are it might not. God damn it. Dog just scared the shit out of me. Sometimes I'm out walking. These dogs, they just start barking out of nowhere. And you can't, your mind can't really tell that, they're behind a fence. You don't know that they're behind a fence until, obviously they don't attack you. Which I'm kind of stupid for out here walking around without some mace. I used to, when I would go on these night walks, I used to at least carry a knife with me or some mace. But I haven't been recently, and that's not too smart. Because it's dark out and you never know if a dog is gonna jump out of the darkness and attack you. Definitely have coyotes out here, but coyotes ain't gonna attack a human being. They're too smart for that. But we got these little dumbass dogs that don't know any better because their trainers or their owners train them to attack people. So if they somehow get out of their fence, they don't know any better. All they know is attack. This is something, that they're territorial, so they think this is my neighborhood. It's like they don't realize that, hey, you're not in your fence. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So, but right now, even like, I'm finding something happy. Like that happened. That was a failure, kind of, right? Like, and I'm walking and I'm looking at these nice houses, and it's like, it's beautiful, And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, well, I don't own a house. I don't have a house. And, gosh, why can't I do that? Like, there's always something that if you let it, it can really put you down. If you let your mind, your mind is a powerful tool. If you let it, it can really keep you down. It can be powerful to keep you up, or it can be powerful to keep you down. It's all in how you deal with it. It's easy for me to look at these houses and be like, oh, why can't I have a house? Poor me. I didn't have this and that, and this didn't work out for me, and but it's all in how you look at it, man. Like, okay, well, you got your little house, cool, and you got your girl who, probably wouldn't mess with you if you didn't have a house, right? It's like, cool, all right. But maybe I've experienced a lot of things you haven't because of that. Maybe my failure, built more character in me because I wasn't blessed the way you were blessed, I don't know, man. It's like you gotta think positive. You gotta figure out some way to, it's like I was gonna say before that dog barked. I had an ex-girlfriend, and I was happy with her, right? And, she asked me, but I mean, now I look back on it and I just said she's my girlfriend, but during the time, I wasn't claiming her, right? I wasn't claiming her. I wasn't saying like, yeah, that's my girlfriend. I wasn't claiming her. And for a long time, for about a year, 2 years, 3 years after we broke up, I was mad at myself for not claiming her because, she went out behind my back because I didn't claim her. She asked me several different occasions, what are we? And, she wanted to date me, which I don't know what that meant to her. I guess to her that meant, we'd be official, and she'd put it on Facebook, and, maybe I'd meet her parents. I don't know. Like, I guess she wanted something. These girls out here, they want something real. This is kind of, I mean, there's definitely a dichotomy. There's definitely a paradox, right? On the one hand, they want something real, right? They want a long-term relationship. And people say, no, women want a long-term relationship. They do. They're just very selective with who they want it with. But then on the other hand, like they want, they want a high value guy, and they're down to fuck too a lot of times, right? So there's a dichotomy. Usually if she's fucking you, she wants you for a long-term relationship, from my experience. I've never really been with, had sex with a girl who just wanted to have sex. Like, that doesn't usually happen. Usually she's emotionally connected to you. Usually she wants you emotionally. It's usually what it is. So I didn't claim her, but I was happy with her, but I was hurt from this other girl that I was dating, right? And, you know, when I met her, she was a slut. Like, she sucked my dick the first day we hang out. She sucked my dick the first day we hung out, for real. I met her on a dating site, but we went out and first met on a trail. We went hiking. And, you know, she sucked my dick. One thing led to another. You know, I was chatting her up, and I was like, oh yeah, you give good blowjobs, you know? And she's like, oh, I think so. And I was like, you want to show me? She's like, right here. And I was like, yeah, sit down right here, find a spot. She did. She sucked my dick right there on the trail. It's kind of fun. We had a bunch of outdoor sex, messed around for a couple weeks, and then she moved back to a certain city. And then she was with a guy, and she got pregnant by this other guy. And then she got engaged to this other guy. But she didn't tell me that she was engaged to this other guy. She wanted me over this other guy. And she was hypergamous. She was monkey branching. She was climbing up. Like, I think she was kind of real ugly when she was in high school and middle school. And then she hit some spurt where she got attractive. It was very weird because I didn't actually know that. I always thought she was like kind of homely. She didn't dress well, but she was a cute girl. Like, she was cute and she was nice. And she was kind of a sweet, shy girl, you know, but those can be the most deceiving, right? But she hit some kind of growth spurt in college, or like some kind of attraction spurt where she got more attractive. And that's when I met her. And you know, she probably, you know, sometimes you get lucky for whatever reason. The girl doesn't realize that she's very sought after. The girl doesn't realize that she could be a lot more attractive if she just dressed better. Sometimes it takes the girls a while. Sometimes you get lucky in that sense. And it's also that's also a you know, a point and a reason why, you know, it's better to find a girl when she's young to get married, because the more a girl is, you know, the more she's exposed to social media. I mean, social media is a killer. It's a killer for relationships. It's a killer for a woman's purity. Because the more she realizes that, hey, I'm sought after by men. Men want to fuck me. Men want to, you know, chase me. The more that happens, the less quality she's going to be. The more she's exposed to guys wanting to fuck her, etc., the less quality she's going to be as a female. So that's one thing that I learned from this scenario, was that, you know, it was like, yeah, I caught her at a certain moment, and she wasn't a saint. She just wasn't as jaded as she was later on. She still had some innocence. She still kind of had this ideal, like, I want to find love kind of thing, right? And girls have that, but it just gets muddied up with, you know, the more attention they're shown on social media and things like that. You know, I'm walking, I see this beautiful tree, and there's certain feelings and moods you get, and I'm looking out, and there's all these trees, and there's houses and stuff, and that in and of itself is a silver lining, you know? It's a silver lining, you know? There's a lot of shitty things going on in life. You know, I haven't had a girlfriend in like 5 years now. You know, I mean, I'm failing. You know, I'm trying to hit girls up. I'm failing. I'm learning how to game in person, and I'm sucking it up. But I'm enjoying this silver lining, right? I'm enjoying this beautiful night. You know, like I said, I'm talking about this girl. It went south, and she chose some other guy over me because she was hypergamous. And it was like, you know, at that time, I was a better option than the guy she was with, who she was engaged to, and he got her pregnant. He had a better job than me, but physically I was better looking than him. I was more in shape than him. So she wanted me because looks, money, status matters. So she dumped this guy. She was living with this guy in Wyoming. You know, I'm over here in Seattle, and you know, her family's over here. Of course, she moved back over here, but you know, she was going to school in North Idaho. She was in Idaho Vandal, right? The Idaho Vandals. That's where she was going, in Moscow, Idaho. That's where she was going to college. And my sister lived in Pullman because my sister was a WSU Cougar. So I went and visited her, my sister, in Pullman, Washington, which is 8 miles away, or like 8 or 10 miles away from Moscow, Idaho. So when I went and visited my sister, I gave this girl a call. I gave her a text. Hey, let's hang out. I went over to her dorm, fucked her in her dorm, right? Had a good time. I gave her great sex. The guy she was with probably had a small dick, right? And I didn't even know she was with him. She didn't tell me. She lied. I didn't know she was with him until after. Here comes that dog again. I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna pause it when it barks. I walk back the same way. But I didn't know she was with this guy. And then I hit her up and we had sex. Woo. Then I went back to Seattle and I was like, hey, why don't you come back? Why don't you come back to Seattle? And she's like, oh, I'm in Wyoming with this guy. I was like, oh, well, you can still come back. You know, it'd be cool to hang out and da-da-da. She's like, yeah, I might. I'm not really enjoying my time with this guy. She didn't tell me she was engaged to this guy, right? I guess the owner took the dog back in, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, she didn't tell me she was engaged to this guy. And she comes back, right? And then all of a sudden, we're fucking again. It's great. The sex is great. Best I've ever had. She always says I'm the best she ever had. That's, I guess, what we had in common. Great sex. But she didn't tell me that she was engaged to this guy, right? I found out later. So it's like, hey, man, you know, people lie, and they lie in the worst ways for the worst reasons. And so we date for like 2 years, and she's trying to claim me. She's like, oh, you know, are we going to be boyfriend and girlfriend? And I don't want to, because I felt like she's just a slut. I was like, I don't trust this girl. I don't like this girl. Like, she's dumpy. And I regret it now. Maybe I could have claimed her. Like, maybe it could have worked, because she did make me happy. And that was one of the happiest times of my life, because, you know, a woman can make you very happy. And women know this. Men are very happy when we're getting good sex. Men are very happy when we're getting good intimacy with women. It makes us very happy, right? And women know how to make a guy happy, right? But there's a whole lot more that comes with that, right? You know, they want your money. If they have a kid, they want to have a kid with you, and they've got all kinds of plans, and they can dump you on the drop of a hat, because it's not about loyalty with hypergamy. Read Rollo Tomasi. You know, hypergamy doesn't care. Hypergamy doesn't care how much time you spent with her. Hypergamy doesn't care how much you love her. Hypergamy doesn't care how much emotions, etc. you've invested in her. Hypergamy doesn't care. If she feels that she wants to dump you for somebody else, a better guy, whether he's got better muscles or better intelligence or whatever she's attracted to, more money, more status, if she feels that she wants to dump you for somebody else, hypergamy doesn't care how good of a time you guys have had. That's what I thought in my mind. In my mind, I was thinking, man, we spent so much time together, you know? Oh man, we did so much, and we spent tons of time together, and we did a lot of stuff. We spent 3 years together, from like 2013, you know, mid 2013, summer 2013 to like summer 2016, 3 years, you know. That's the longest relationship I've ever been in with a girl that I was being intimate with, and we were intimate all the time. But I found out later